Hey guys, and welcome back to A&J Education YouTube channel. My name is Sunny, and in today's video we're talking about how hard it is to get into UCL in 2022. Let's go! Okay guys, welcome back to this YouTube channel, and as always, if you haven't already checked out our Instagram and TikTok, do take a look because we post a lot of useful tips and advice on university admissions and education on there that we don't necessarily post on YouTube, so check them out as they may be useful. Now, today's video comes after a request from one of the people who emailed me a couple of weeks ago saying, Sunny, what are the steps? What should I do to get into UCL? It's my dream university, and how hard it is to get into UCL, and what are the steps that I should take to get in there? Now, for those of you who don't know, UCL stands for University College London. It's considered one of the best universities in the world, located in central London, and has a variety of subjects from sciences to medicine to humanities, and is a great university, very famous, does good in the rankings. So how do you get in there? Well, first of all, this video is relevant for those who will be hoping to start at UCL in September 2022, or for anybody who's got a full year before they need to submit an application. So, before you go into your application, there are several things that you must remember about the application. The first thing you need to understand is that it's an equation, right? And you have several inputs, several data points that you put into this equation, and then at the output you get either an acceptance or a rejection. Now, what are the data points that are going? So number one is the completed Ucas application form that you can find on ucas.com, and this application form takes maybe 3 or 4 hours to complete. Basic information like your name, date of birth, your school, grades, fairly simple stuff. You need to do it carefully and properly, but there's nothing super difficult there, and pretty much a couple of hours, watch a couple of YouTube videos on our YouTube channel and you'll be fine. Now, the second data point, hugely important, is your Ucas personal statement. Now, this personal statement has a limit of 4,000 characters, including spaces, which comes to about a page and a quarter, maybe a page and a paragraph on the second page. Personal statement is super important because it is the only document that the university, that UCL will see that has your writing on it, and this is your chance to demonstrate your passion for the subject, your motivation for studying it, and to talk about your experiences, and to basically, it's your chance to sell yourself to UCL as to why they should take you specifically. So a lot of people would do quite a bad personal statement with statements like, oh, I'm very passionate about history and therefore want to study it at your university. Now, this is rubbish, and it's rubbish because you're not, you're telling the university that you're good rather than demonstrating to them that you're good. So what you should do is, instead of using stuff like, oh, I'm passionate about studying history and I want to come and study it at university, you should use construction like this. Having come across World War II in my history lessons, I was inspired to take up an online course by Stanford University on World War II, on the role of Scandinavian countries during World War II. And having completed the course, I then came across this historical thing that happened there, and this inspired me to read a book by, John Smith, who argues for XYZ, right? So this way, you're not saying explicitly, I'm passionate about history, but you're demonstrating your interest actively through this sequence of steps that you've taken, right? And bear in mind that all of this is outside of school, so it shows that you're someone who is motivated enough to pursue the subject outside of the confinement of your school and outside of the requirements of your class, which is what you want. So personal statement, hugely important. We have a ton of videos on this. If you have any questions, drop me a message on Instagram, and maybe I'll be able to help. Now, the third data point that goes into it is your predicted grades. Now, very few applicants, when they apply to UCL, already have their grades, either A levels, IB, or international qualifications that are equivalent, that are recognized by UCL. And by the way, if you are an international applicant and you're not sure about your qualifications, check out this link here where UCL tells you exactly what qualifications from what country they accept. And if you're still not sure, drop them an email and they'll be able to tell you more, or get in touch with us and we should be able to help you. Now, predicted grades, super important. This is half of the equation that you sadly cannot control. So that's something that your teacher, assuming you haven't already got the grades, that's something your teacher or teachers need to assign you. And therefore, it's very important that they have a positive view of you as an applicant and that they will give you good predicted grades. Now, good predicted grades, can vary. Some UCL courses require an A star, others are, 3As, some are AAB, perhaps that are a bit less competitive. So you need to check the direct requirements of the particular course, and you can do this on this through this link on this page, where you can find any course that UCL offers for undergrad or indeed postgrad. But yeah, predicted grades, super important and very important for you to be in good books of your teachers. Which brings me to my fourth data point, final one for UCL, is the reference. Teacher's reference, hugely important. And so many applicants underestimate it and leave it until too late. So most applicants who apply in the autumn or winter, they approach their teacher maybe a month before, a couple of weeks before, and that's the same time when 100 other kids in your class approach the teacher as well. That's when all the pushy parents with sharp elbows have also approached the teacher and applying pressure to kind of give their Jimmy or Billy or Sarah or whatever their child's name is the best reference. So your strategy should be different. Your strategy is to find out nice and early who's the person in your school who's going to be writing your reference and submitting it to Ucas, and then build a relationship with that person and make sure that they're invested in you. So now, this does not mean that you have to suck up to them every day and compliment them on their appearance and what they say and what they do. But this does mean showing genuine interest in if the teacher is subject, care about the subject and do good work. If there are opportunities, do extra stuff, ask for extra work, or maybe come up with extra projects or extra help. Basically, be on their radar and keep them updated about all the stuff you're doing outside of school that they should include in your personal statement, in your reference. And if you do that, I guarantee you that your reference will stand out from all the other references or will be among the best that teacher will write this year. So, guys, so far I've told you about the 4 data points. So the Ucas application form, the Ucas personal statement, the teacher's predicted grades, and the reference from the teachers. And you'll notice that the first half you can control directly because you fill up the Ucas form and you write the personal statement. The second half you do not directly control. So you can influence it indirectly by building good relationships with your teachers, by doing good at school. But it's very important to remember that there is this unequal dynamic, and that actually, even though you can sort out the first 2, either independently or with our help or whoever's help, the other 2 are a bit trickier, and you really need to invest your time into building relationships with the teachers to make sure that they don't let you down at the last hurdle. And every year we have students who come to us last minute who want help with their Ucas applications, and we help them, and we do really well. But the one thing we can't influence that late in the game is what the teacher writes in their reference and what they give you as predicted grades. So start investing in your relationship with them nice and early. That's probably the most important piece of advice I want you to take away from this video. Start investing in relationships nice and early, so when it comes to the application time, you will get the dividends from those investments. But for now, this sums up this video. Of course, those of you who are applying to medicine will scream in horror and say that I haven't touched about the UCL medical applications. Of course, I haven't. Medicine applications, we have separate videos for that, so keep an eye on our YouTube channel. But if you're applying for UCL, this video will cover you the 4 points. And remember that you have 2 deadlines. You can apply by the earlier deadline of 15th of October, which is when the medics and the Oxbridge candidates apply, or you can go with the regular UCL deadline, which will be 15th of January 2022. So you either have 15th of October 21 or 15th of January 2022. In our experience, having helped hundreds of students get into UCL and other top universities, it always pays to apply early for several reasons. Number one, there's simply more staff in the admissions office to read your application and give it the justice that it deserves, or hopefully should deserve if you do your job well. Secondly, UCL, like any business, has sales targets to hit. And what I mean by sales targets is they have a certain number of seats that they have to fill with students. Now, if you submit your application in October, they still have lots of free spaces. They're always a bit panicky. They're always never sure whether they're going to fill all the spaces. I mean, they can predict it, they can guess, but they're never quite sure. And so if you apply nice and early and you're good enough, why not just give you a space there and then? So for your own sake, invest in relationship with your teachers, apply early, and all the best. Guys, let me know how your UCL application goes. Let me know in the comments where you're applying to. And if you want some help for that, again, give me a shout and I'll see what I can do. All the best. Take care.